I am your nemesis. The day you open your mouth to say what you saw here tonight, that day will be your end.
Kelvin, a tall, dark, and rich guy, whose charming smile alone draws women close to him, is every woman's dream guy. But there is one bad thing about Kelvin. He would woo women with his smooth talk, only to leave them heartbroken once he got what he wanted. Kelvin's life was a string of one-night stands and broken promises. He never thought twice about the consequences of his actions. He even boasted to his friends when they tried to advise him, but he brushed aside the advice and told his friends that whenever he's ready to get married, he would go to a church and pick a beautiful virgin from the church. One fateful night, Kelvin went to a club and met a beautiful lady called Sonia. He danced with her, and afterwards they continued the party in his limousine. The next morning, he dropped her off and gave her some money. But Sonia rejected the money, saying that she is not a call girl. Kelvin was so happy. In his mind, he said, "At least I don't chop free food." Months later, Sonia visited Kelvin and told him that she was pregnant for him. Kelvin denied the pregnancy and told Sonia never to come to his house again. This broke Sonia's heart, and she laid a curse on Kelvin and left. Kelvin continued his womanizing lifestyle. He goes to club every weekend, takes any girl he meets at the club home, and drops her off the next day. But months later, Kelvin decided within himself that it was time for him to settle down, and so he started going to church. There was this beautiful girl called Amaka that sings in the church. Her sweet, melodious voice suits even the most troubled hearts. Kelvin found himself drawn to Amaka, and he made up his mind that he was going to marry her. Kelvin met Amaka after church service. They exchanged numbers, and 2 days later, they went out on a date. Kelvin invited Amaka over to his house, but she declined the offer and told him that she was from a Christian home and was not ready to compromise her faith. She spelled out her rules to Kelvin, that as a Christian girl, she will not expose any part of her body, including her hair, nor sleep with any man until after marriage. Despite his usual behavior, Kelvin was willing to stop his womanizing lifestyle and turn a new leaf. He was already in love with Amaka and ready to do anything just to marry her. They grew closer, and he eventually married Amaka. However, things took a new turn after their wedding. Amaka stopped being the compassionate, gentle, and loving girl she used to be. She became aggressive and easily provoked. She refused to allow Kelvin touch her and was always fully covered from head to toe. Even while cooking, watching TV, relaxing in the sitting room, and even when sleeping, Amaka's head was always covered. This disturbed Kelvin, and he confronted her, reminding her that it was her obligation as a married woman to satisfy his desires as her husband. Amaka remained adamant and continued her arrogant lifestyle. Then one night, while Kelvin was sleeping, Amaka woke Kelvin up and told him that they needed to talk. She then removed her hair tie, and behold, there were 2 short horns on her forehead. Kelvin was so terrified at the sight of the horns on her forehead. He opened his mouth to shout, but could not shout. He reached for the door, but the door was shut. The lights went out, and there was complete darkness. Amaka's voice echoed all over the house like a thunder, saying,
I am your nemesis. The day you open your mouth to say what you saw here tonight, that day will be your end.